Strength Warehouse presents Go Heavy or Go Home podcast. I am your host, Nate Boley. In this podcast, we talk about strength, fitness, nutrition, and all things Strength Warehouse related. Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. Today's episode, Becoming Undeniable. This is something that I have kept as my secret weapon, and I hardly ever talk about, but I silently do it in the background. So, becoming undeniable in your craft has been definitely one of the biggest drivers of my success in everything that I've done. So, a little back history. When I was in alternative high school, because I was a bad kid and I didn't get to go to regular high school, I had to go to alternative high school, I learned a lot of things about myself and about life that maybe regular high school kids never learned because they were too busy doing the high school experience. My high school experience was very different than most everybody I've ever met, except for the kids that I knew that went to my alternative school. I believe we were one of the first alternative schools offered in Oregon way back in the day, in the early 2000s. And it was really like, okay, it actually has a curriculum. You can actually graduate from it. And it's not just all the bad kids, but yeah, I was probably one of the bad kids, and I didn't really like high school. So anyway, my teacher told me one time, she's like, everything you do it 110%. Give it 110%. Don't even try it. Don't even do anything if you're not going to give it 110%. And that really encapsulated it just grabbed my soul, and I was just like, yes, I need to. Actually, at first, I remember the first couple of years, I was like, yeah, whatever. Her name was Kathy. I was like, yeah, whatever, Kathy. I don't care about that. But then when I actually got into the real world and figured out that like caring actually matters, and that people that you want around your life and people who want you in their life also care. It's not like it was in high school where like it was cool to not care. It's actually cool to care in real life, in your grown-up life. So anyway, once I got out of alternative high school and I was actually in the workplace and stuff, I didn't realize it, but it had been like growing and captivating me throughout those years that I wasn't, in school with her. And then when I got out, I realized that I had been developing this for the past 4 years in that alternative school, and it really helped me in my later years. So fast forward, I got out of school, I took a year off, but everything that I did, I started working at my aunt and uncle's deli and sisters called the Depot Deli. And everything I did, I just started taking ownership of everything, like making sure that the line was completely stocked or making sure it was really clean, or making sure all my prep was done. So I set myself up for success, but I also set up the next person for a success as well, because their success was highly riding on if I set them up or not. So if I made sure the line was the cooking line was clean, fully stocked, and had everything prepped, that I know that they would have a super successful shift. And they always wanted to work with me and work next to me. Fast forward to that, I went to college and I was working with automotive, and I was struggling because I was working full time and I was also going to school. I was taking 19 credits for 2 years. It's a lot of credits when you're only 21 years old and you got to work full time. And I was also driving 20 minutes each way to Bend because I lived in Sisters at the time. 20 minutes at the end of the day. I'd get off work at 12. I'd work from 5:30 in the morning till 12. And then I'd get off and I'd be at school from 2 o'clock till 10. And then I'd get off school, drive home, do some homework, go to bed for like 4 hours, get up, go to work at 5 again. I did that 4 days a week. And then I had some extra time off during the weekends and stuff where I'd actually catch up on my homework. Went to automotive school. I did not graduate high school very well. I think it was like a 2.1, right? Just terrible, because I didn't care. When I got to college, I really found that I cared about something, and I was all in. I was early to class. I was late out. I made sure all my homework was done. I asked a lot of questions. I made sure I was in all the conversations. And I dug deeper and dug deeper and dug deeper. And I took all the courses that they offered, not just the ones that were mandatory. I took the elective ones as well. I wanted to just immerse myself in it, give it 110%. And then I graduated with a 3.9 out of college. I had never even thought I would come close to a 4.0 ever. I was definitely not an academic person when I was in middle school, high school, and grade school. But I knew that if I could just immerse myself in it, that I would do really well. I got a job right out of high school or right out of college at an automotive shop. And I started immersing myself in all the classes. Every single time there was an elective class at like Napa or O'Reilly's or Shucks or whoever was doing it, an online course, ASC, Automotive Service Excellence. I took every single course. I passed every single test. Even if I didn't pass it, I took it again until I passed it. And I just really immersed myself in the situation. I went to these hot rod shows. I went to these racing things. I went to all this stuff because I was just super into it. I was immersing myself in the culture and just learning every single thing that I did. And I took super pride in every single thing that I did. And that helped segue into my next career move, which when I moved to Subaru, I had already had all the like line experience from being a line cook. And so it was like crazy amount of like stuff happening at one time. I had the 6 years of being an auto tech and just taking my time and like really immersing myself in everything and getting all the certifications I possibly can, going right into Subaru. Same deal. As soon as I was, like eligible to take classes, I started taking their Subaru training, and I was I became a senior master tech very quickly. And just one of those things, like you take pride in what you're going to do, you're going to do really well, right? Take ownership of everything you do. I segued that right into gym ownership, right? And so now I do all those exact same things as a gym owner. I'm immersing myself in the culture. I'm getting mentorship, business mentorship, leadership mentorship. I'm going to business groups. I'm listening to podcasts. I'm trying to find the best people out there that run gyms and run programming and all that stuff, and just immerse myself in that. So defining what undeniable actually means. This is doing such a good job that every single person wants to work with you. They reach out to you and they want to work with you. They will actually start to copy what you do, and inevitably they're going to ask you for help, right? They're going to be like, hey, what is he doing that makes him so much more successful than me? I want to know how to do that. It takes a special person and a special time in their career and life to actually realize that. Sometimes they just get mad at you because they feel like you're that much better than them and they're never going to reach you. But most of the time, inevitably, if you offer help and you just become that undeniable, they will ask you for help. Universal principles for being undeniable. This doesn't matter if you are, a stock person, flipping burgers, pumping gas, or making $1 million deals. The principles are all the same. Immerse yourself in that. Take pride in your work. Make sure you're doing the best of your ability. Take care of the other people that are around you. Do your due diligence. So a lot of times I have heard this so many times, especially when I was in the automotive industry, like, I'm not going to do a better job until I get more money or until I get promoted. Like, that is the absolute wrong way to look at it. Or, I'm not going to do better until I reach XYZ result. Like, no, you don't get the result before you put in the work. You absolutely have to put in the work first. You have to show the initiative, you have to show the commitment, and then you get rewarded from that. So if you find yourself thinking, or ever saying, I have done this before, like, I'm not going to do a better job unless I get more money at work, or I'm not going to like put in any extra effort until I see, this result in my training or whatever it is. Like, that is just a terrible way to look at things, and you're not really going to get anywhere. So I highly suggest you turn that around and say, I don't care what I'm doing. Just for an example, so like I went to powerlifting nationals this last year in July. In my opinion, I'm a very weathered, or whatever you want to call it, seasoned national referee in powerlifting. So I go to nationals and I'm supposed to work. the very first job they give me is unwrapping medals and putting them out on the table. And I was a little bit turned off by that. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm a national referee. I've been doing this for several years. I'm very good. And I have to unwrap medals. And I was like, that's the wrong mentality. They need somebody to do something. Obviously, it's a need that hasn't been filled. Do it to the best of your ability. So I did. I lined every single medal up. I got rid of all the trash, did everything like to 110%. And then they came out and they're like, that's a great job. Here's the next job. And I did that job to the next as best as possible. I gave it every single effort I could. By the time I was done, I was doing every single position because they knew. They're like, hey, we don't really know who you are that well. We don't know your capabilities. So I would highly suggest you just, whatever you're doing, if you want to get more out of it, do every little thing 100%. All right. In this world, there are tons of distractions, right? The challenges in this world, comparing yourself to others, trends, and the next big thing, or the grass is greener. I highly suggest you just leave those things be. Don't worry about them. They don't mean anything. Focus on what you have. Do it to 100% of your capability, and you will succeed in that area. Now, if you want to, once you succeed in that area and you've like mastered it and you want to do something else, great. Go find something else. Go find the next, grass is greener, the next big thing, or whatever it is. But I would highly suggest you guys just focus down, figure out what you want to do, immerse yourself in it, do every single thing you can in order to win and succeed at that thing. So, all right, guys. Well, that's all I have for you today. I know this is kind of a short one, but if you thought or you felt like you got anything out of this, would you please screenshot this podcast, share it on your social media, tag me. My Instagram tag is coach_sensei1. I'd love to see your guys' stories. Share a story where maybe you didn't succeed because you didn't give it all the way, 110%, or share a story that you did give it 110% and you did succeed. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. This is something that I just, like I said, I've held in like sniper mode, right? I just do it. And most of the time I don't even know because I've just made it habit for me. And so I wanted to share this with you guys because I think it's such a huge opportunity for everybody to win and just do better. But all right, guys, until next time, I will see you on the other side.
Thanks for joining us on this epic journey of strength. If you liked this episode, please leave us a review and share with a friend. To stay connected, hit that subscribe button. All right, until next time, go heavy or go home.